Welcome back. So, after some disappointing T-sides from both teams, we move on to Mirage. AWP, Mageddon. I think we're going to see less timeouts on Mirage because it is the most open map of the three that we've seen. Nice open map, nice juicy open map. So,
Cobblestone's an open map.
is it?
Yeah, it's pretty open. It's got big open spaces.
It's got open spaces.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's an open map though, but Mirage certainly is. Yeah. I don't know. Like,
What don't you know, James?
what can we say at this point?
Well, I think
Apart from like we've expressed our disappointment at what we've seen so far.
yeah. So that's the thing.
I don't have anything else to say.
Unfortunately, it's kind of like being a broken record because we've been watching the team for a long time, at least Luminosity.
Yeah.
INTZ, we don't have to be as, we don't have as high expectations. It's kind of like when we watch MIBR and we're like, like this looks like a little bit sloppy. That team used to be like the core used to be the best team and players in the world that innovated the game in a way which was uniting strategy and tactics in this structure that was still loose enough, although very disciplined and routines, that allowed the individuals to truly shine. It was kind of mind-blowing. Like they created that era of Counter-Strike under a leader, Fallen, who understands the theory of the game so well. What he was doing with Games Academy was releasing lessons and teaching people, and his theory was on point. He was way ahead of his time. And so we have huge expectations because of stuff like that. And with Luminosity, they've been making the same mistakes for 2-3 years, and that's the problem. That's why it's disappointing. And it didn't look like their heart was in it. They shouldn't be losing to INTZ in that fashion. That's the problem. Now we move to Mirage, and as you say, James, not too much more to say about that. And perhaps they can wipe the slate clean here. But it didn't look like they were in it to win it in the last match on the second half. And so we're hoping that changes here. The heart has been restored. The ferocity is back. That's what we want to see. And on the T side, what better place to do it on Mirage than Mirage?
They will start on the T side. Show us something, Luminosity. Then we will ask the same of INTZ at halftime, of course. Cello holding position. The bomb has not been shown just yet, and Steel's trying to secure the B bomb site. He's like, guys, it's clear, guys. Zand, though, is in apartments. They know one player is still to rotate. If he saw Steel, he will see that Steel does not have the bomb. This should be a free kill for Zand. He'll even elevate his position. He hears there's a jumping bolt, and that should be the round. Steel has 40 seconds to go and get the bomb. He's trying to cut off rotators, but the problem is it's a long way into those apartments, so he can't really spend too much time doing this. There's a kill. Off he goes. Both players in apartments now, and that actually makes it doable. They're in the same place, and he can go for the frags, but he needs to go immediately. He needs to run all the way. W, no shift key. You don't have time for this. Just got to gamble, trying to swing and find out as much info as possible. Okay, Kitchen's cleared. 14 seconds, and he will go for the first 1v1, and Xander will deny him. Outpositioned by INTZ. They take the pistol.
Indeed. I actually think the Glock is pretty good in that spot too, because of the ability, it's better running and shooting. But INTZ looking to make this really, or rather looking to make this a great conversion with the SMGs. You can get pretty aggressive with this, and that would actually be pretty sick because of the Deagles and no Kevlar. That would actually be a pretty good counter specifically against that approach. A very deep incendiary and HE will follow to block any access to the peaks, and then the position is taken by Destiny. So that's a good way to do it. If you're looking at, you need to use utility to give you position. You don't want to ever gamble that you can just get a position for free if it's in a contested area of the map. You use utility to make it safe, and Destiny did that. And look at the situation. It denied the early picking opportunities towards a ramp. 2 kills, everyone's still alive. And Destiny continues to be the warden of that area. What are you feeling, Eric? What are you feeling?
Just waiting for, Luminosity, if they can get any picks here. We got Headone at chair, kind of giving away his spot, letting know, and he does have a bomb too, but Lucas will get a kill on Destiny, so it's always a nice little pick. Oh, making it interesting here. Kills are being exchanged. King Vito, though, gets one as bolts will take him out. Now it's a 2-on-2, and Dan instantly, well, not instantly, but pretty close. It went a 2-on-2 situation.
Yeah, kind of out of nowhere. It's a 5v3. They have no Kevlar as well, so that's very surprising that Luminosity getting all this mileage. This has to be denied. Ooh, it doesn't get denied. That is kind of ridiculous. MP9 of all guns. I'm so surprised it wasn't a headshot immediately found there, but whatever.
Oh.
The jumping accuracy of the MP9 is the best by far of all SMGs. Fun facts. And you can see it in practice there.
It's a pretty expensive round, and Luminosity got the bomb down, so it's looking really good for this next coming round for Luminosity.
Wow, yeah.
And INTZ, they had spent it all.
Indeed, that third round's buy for Luminosity, as you say, looking really, really good because of that bomb plant. There was even an option for an AWP, but they don't need it necessarily because look at the differential and firepower as it is. The AKs are going to always be performing well, and there's a FAMAS out in the field for INTZ. So they are not lacking whatsoever, and having all the nades here is really... It's one of the maps where on T side, you do actually need a lot of nade. You need a lot of smokes at least, because you do need to be able to work middle, and if not work middle, then you know you're looking at using those smokes to be able to run set pieces.
I like the bait from Yell, shooting from behind the ladder room, which would make Luminosity think that no one's in the actual ladder room. And in fact, Zan jumped out of the ladder room, off the bricks into mid, so it kind of negates itself in that respect. Could have been a nice setup, but maybe there was no synergy there after all. Steel's made his way into the B bomb site. Seems to have a read that no one... Oh, someone! That's a big headshot from him. Short position still has a question mark though, soon to be answered. He spots Yell, the taps are there. Beautiful stuff from Steel. We've got a third player in the market now. That's KNG with the AWP. And in a 3 versus 5, it seems they'll try to cut their losses, and the losses are considerable if you look at what they have in the bank. And just like that, that will be the round.
Absolutely. But it's a good save. Having 3 guns as opposed to 2 enables you to pretty much always get a pretty solid buy, as rifles can be dropped. For example, Kianji and Cello can each drop a FAMAS with the round loss bonus that they're going to get. And so then it'll be a 4-buy. Sure, there'll be 3 FAMAS, but it'll be a 4-buy. If you lose 1 more player, then that's 1 person on the pistol. So it's a pretty big difference, 3 versus 2. Sometimes that's a difference I feel like teams don't really respect. But Counter-Strike is also a pretty unpredictable game, and sometimes you don't know what's possible until you try, because you're playing against human beings who make mistakes.
Yeah, that was a really risky setup by INTZ. Literally no one in the spot in that B bomb site.
Good nades, actually. I like that, the double nades. Didn't really connect with Kianji as they perhaps would have wanted, but I like the thought behind that. So playing really slow behind that cat smoke, perhaps expecting an aggressive opener from INTZ. And I wouldn't call it aggressive. They're showing that they want to contest and pressure mid, which is what you should really be doing most of the time on the CT side. Although, given that it's so clear, it looks like INTZ are actually positioning Destiny mid. We've seen setups like this before. As long as Kianji's not exposed in any way to underpass, this is fine. Okay, that's not worked out. There's the flash for the peak for Destiny. And he sees only 1 player. So right now, Luminosity have been sitting on the map, not really doing anything for about a minute. Actually, an actual minute. And they've lost a player because of 1 info play from INTZ.
And there's no response of any kind.
There's no, yeah. They don't have a retake of top mids or mid or at all.
37 seconds left, and they're throwing Molotovs behind the boxes and top mid.
They have almost full utility here, so they're going for a super late set piece, but they only have 1 smoke. That's a pretty big problem.
So all this does really is it just drives more utility from the CT side. But again, there's no advantage taken. There's no position of any kind. There's Molotov towards Sandwich, and the numbers game will eventually overwhelm Destiny at the very least. 10 seconds and the bomb's being dropped. How do you correct the error? Bomb planter trying to cross to the site. KNG causing problems. Yell. This is it. It's a gamble you can take because now what? You've got no time to correct your problems. Why? Because you wasted all your time in the first place. That's why.
But you actually make a pretty good point. If you're going to wait this long, obviously you want to waste or make the CTs use their utility, or you get map control so you can find out where the kind of position CTs are playing. But if you have less utility than the CTs with 20 seconds left, as a T, you're doing it wrong.
The other thing too is that there's nothing wrong with trading or even going down like to a 3 versus 4. That's still like a super workable position because it creates a spot where the CTs can't play as aggressively on the map, which gives you more map control, which gives you more options. And as the CTs have to split between the bomb sites, even if you have less numbers, that's still actually a really workable spot. You can outplay your opponent. Now, the reason I make that point is in the previous round, they could have actually tried to fight for mid. And what I'm saying is, even if they lost 2 players and only got 1 kill, that's still actually a good spot to be in. If you have taken that position away from the CTs, as long as you understand how to work it correctly. But either way, we're going to see more aggression, a more aggressive approach from Luminosity here. They're going to have connector control. Connector control is really important. However, you got to be cautious here because INTZ have actually a really good response in the way that they have a ramp. And because they have a ramp, planting the bomb becomes very difficult unless Luminosity can find a way to take CT or keep Dominion over jungle as well and connector. So this is kind of scary for Luminosity. They're walking into the bomb site. They haven't seen any players. There's 5 CTs alive still. What's going on?
What is going on?
That's what they got to be asking themselves. Where are these guys?
Domestic matchups.
They must surely know. Oh, that's a great flashbang. There you go. That's beautiful. Beautiful flash.
Well, they have CT, and then the kills come raining in.
Yeah.
HEs will force Cello away. That is an unusual round.
If that flash doesn't come in, or it fails, or for whatever reason, the Kianji gets the kill on CT, I'm pretty sure INTZ win the round, just because of the way then that the ramp players are able to play the round. But because the ramp players had no crossfires, no one to really distract from them of any threat level, they don't have anything they can't do anything in the round.
That's the second time Luminosity has found that open pocket in a 5-on-5. First round that they went B, no one was in B. This round they went A, no one is at A, so that's pretty lucky. That's lucky, 5-on-5, no one's A, okay.
It's unusual, yeah.
I'll take that one.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. That setup, having 2 deep on A ramp, that can work. But again, like you can't just have that position alone. You have to have either jungle or connector or CT. You have to have one other spot to work from with your teammates, because that's also positions where flashes can be thrown into the bomb site for the retake. Either way, Luminosity much better. That's much better rounds in many respects because they were pressuring the map. They were taking map control. They were using the map control to leverage bomb site control. Well, they were leveraging their map control to get bomb site control, I should say.
So far, so good for Luminosity in round number 6. Just eliminating players one by one. 3 INTZ players remain with the CZ-75s and the Deagle. And the bomb is on short. It's been taken up by the likes of Destiny, who moves towards the jungle position. He's been smoked off. Henny's got a nice angle. Destiny creeping through the smoke. So much creeping through the smoke so far. The bomb's been collected now by Nekez, and Destiny's the last man standing, last man to fall. 3-3. The score has been tied. So what are we going to see next? $2,000 per person for INTZ. It looks like it's double eco territory. Their loss bonus is in the bin. It's in the pits.
It's gone. Even though INTZ will be able to buy next round, the only person that really may be able to afford an AWP is Yell. So are we going to see him pick it up or drop it to King Vito?
It's not going to be the
Doesn't wanna be
best of buys next round. And Luminosity, you might know what the situation is with this team. They'll do a simple execute into the B bomb site. Ding dong from Destiny. Bolts is somehow blind in Palace and goes down. And now Destiny has the high ground advantage with an AK-47. What in the blazes is going on? Okay, we've seen things calm down a little. Zand dancing around. KG somewhere with 1 HP. Down he goes. Zand reloading the USP. Lucas doesn't seem to know where he is.
That's weird.
There we go. I saw them losing the round. Lucas cleaned it up himself. They had USPs. They got... I don't know. I don't know.
That's close.
Was Bolt's team flashed? I'm
not
guessing
sure.
he was team flashed.
But as you see, Yell does pick up the AWP. He's going to be AWPing. Not KNG, but Yell. Glass cannon, too. He's going all in.
Necessary. He must. Smokes in mid from Luminosity. Utility is low for INTZ. It's pretty much smoke grenades and flashes. Yell moves to the short position. Nobody in the window. Smokes off anyway, so no big deal. So he'll be focusing on connector and a short push. Tight angle may save him from flashbangs. Looking towards the chair now. Luminosity have the bomb in mid. They're pretty much set up to go for an A play, I would say. They have a lurker towards A and one towards B. Quick boost to look into ladder. Nothing doing it just yet. Can have a nice pop flash into window to allow the boosty, or the booster, but yeah, the boosty to make his way into the window. Lucas has been taken out in connector by KNG. I don't think they know about the AWP just yet, because it's been boosted. And no one's popped the vent going from B, which means that a CT rotation may be somewhat difficult, although it does save them from being flanked at the same time. Walking past the corner with the bomb, no less, Henny. Still alive somehow. No flashbang. Why? I don't know. Zand, I love the off angle. Rather than jumping onto the van, just stands there, gives Steel a false sense of security. And there his neck is activated. A long spray in the shadow position. But the bomb is in that short area. And now Yell is creeping. And Yell's surely going to be activated soon. Maybe the action on the A bomb site's going to distract in the meantime. Surely it will. Neck is running out of bullets and health. And that's the round for INTZ.
That was an interesting round by Luminosity. They had position in window, but they couldn't capitalize on attacking the A bomb site. INTZ played an interesting setup themselves by pretty much giving up window, not even attempting to go in there, and they didn't even shoot out the vent. So we see a timeout from Luminosity. And so far, they don't have an AWP. Yell still survives, still keeps his AWP. What do you think? If you're Luminosity, Pug, I mean, your slow strats aren't working too well, all right? What do you gotta do? Maybe Pug it up. This is like the puggiest map of all time. Let's see some Pug stuff. Wide swinging together. Simple A smokes. Just take it. I don't know. It needs to be something different because, I don't know. Luminosity is just, as we say, it's too slow. Ames is just too slow.
I feel like we've seen 3 rounds in 10 minutes. Almost.
Feels like that.
Somehow.
Feels like that way.
Grenades out. It's so crazy. If you look at Furia's executes on the T side and how they take map control, it's so many light years ahead of both these teams. Why don't they just copy what they're doing?
I don't know.
Why don't they just copy it?
I think that comes down to actually doing the work outside the game, watching demos, going to the server, grinding stuff out. Maybe Luminosity or INTZ is like one of those teams that just plays. Maybe they talk about it for 10 minutes and just play, which can get you this far, I guess, with their skill. But beyond it, you have to grind it out.
Yeah, you've got to have ambition. KNG was talking about ENTZ, and Immortals would have been ENTZ if they'd stuck together and stuff like that. So the ambition is there, but is the work there? Is the work ethic there? I mean, perhaps maybe it isn't if they didn't stick together in the first place. I don't know. But I don't know what the structure is like if they have you know, if they're hotheads, if they have big personalities and nobody outside the game is there to control them. I mean, we see like Azonik is a big figure behind Astralis, not to connect them with hotheads or anything like that, but the point is that they have I know how much work he puts in outside the game, and I just have no idea if these guys, from what we see on the server, they can't. And yet, yeah, they might have people outside the game, but we're not seeing anything different. Yeah. So, I mean, that to me is an issue. Luminosity has been bled dry now in these rounds. This one's going all the way, isn't it? This is going 30 rounds.
It's going double OT. We know this. I do like Luminosity work in the middle. Seems like INTZ is kind of playing more of the double A, 2B kind of setup, so that gives a little space and freedom to middle if they throw the proper smokes.
Jumping out, it's a shooting gallery. A fast eco is a good eco, though. HE towards Tetris, and won't hit the mark, but the Org of Destiny will. There we go, 6-4 for INTZ. We are 2/3 of the way through the first half. Round number 11. The T-sides. Ropey, once again. A lack of inspiration, perhaps. 5 AKs out for Luminosity. Lucas has an interesting spawn. Just go towards B, or A, or mid, rather, with it. And it seems it will be mid, but surely it won't be too fast because... Okay, well, we have 2 players jumping out into the mid position from INTZ. And Lucas will be forced back while 4 players are executing into the A bomb site. So Luminosity will actually have position. Believe it or not, it's an A with smokes. Note how they don't spend too much time in the choke point. You've got to be careful of the AWP though, because there's often a gap in that corner. You've got to be aware of that. Get some flashes there. A good start, but the lack of middle. Where's the flashbangs?
Oh, the bomb's ticking away. And CT retake's looking good here. Right now it's a 16.6% of rounds run by timeout. But that stands to change if this is successful. There goes Destiny. Oh, that's lovely. Just about gets that as he's blinded, and he can stop pressuring the bomb now. Got plenty of teammates to support, and Rolls desperately tries to run out the smoke, and he tries to get the double. Oh, okay. Lucas gets in there, but too slow, too late. And that'll be another round for INTZ. Luminosity. Yes.
That's why I think people need to try and take CT. Because they can basically concede the bomb site post-plant by moving back. If you have a crossfire across the map, across the bomb site rather, it makes things a lot more difficult. I think they had a lack of utility, and they definitely do once again in this round. So maybe that had something to do with it, but...
We knew that Luminosity, Luminosity knew that INTZ pushed an aggressive middle. Bad thought. 2 kills from INTZ. Hero gets takeout in the process, and Cello King just having a field day under the balcony. Destiny, though, is playing a little sneaky bait game.
Now just bolts. That's one. Thinks immediately, though. That's sort of add to your point, James, about, you said taking CT. If you're going to execute or run a set piece into a bomb site and you haven't pressured away that much utility, and the CTs have utility, if you go A ramp, you're kind of screwed because one smoke is all it takes. One smoke on that ramp is all it takes to just crush everything. So that's one thing to consider as well, because that can be okay if you just go A ramp and palace like that, if the CTs don't have utility. But that's more like a spot where it's more to do with when you're mid-rounding. It's like a 3v3, lots of utility's been exchanged, there's been weird fights all across the map and so on and so forth, and then it's also more doable to push smokes. Either way, here comes a quick play through to the B bomb site for Luminosity, and Zand will have one for Steel and for Bolts. And they are not finding much success. Luminosity getting into this bomb site is very difficult. And Zand it just looks really easy right now. He's just kind of going to, one side of the box to the other side of the box, to the other side of the box, and he took minimal damage for his 4K. So, well done, Zand. Perhaps Luminosity needs some more flashes or something, I don't know. Either way.
It's the Zand welcoming party.
It's looking like a pretty good rounds score here for INTZ. It's just weird as well because I think that INTZ is a lineup where they just put Cello back in after having Ye for a while, so you would give them a lot more room for error and mistake and so on. But Luminosity, they've been together with amazing players for a very long time, and I'm kind of it's a surprising result in the series so far. The way that the rounds have been going wrong for them don't seem really to make too much sense to me, but that's okay. Life doesn't make sense.
Sometimes it doesn't, Dan.
Slightly... Okay, never mind. Steel has once again found his way into the B bomb site, but this time he's not prepared for Yell. Taking a long time to set up to peek into apartments, INTZ. Way far too long. Now, Cello's found himself in T-spawn, and Lucas almost fired a bullet for a headshot there. And the bomb's in T-spawn. So, he's turning to pick it up. Nekiz and Henny remain. We've got Nekiz trying to make plays in connector. Flashbang, nothing doing. Spawning, I think, KNG by default. Molotov to force him away. Flashbang up high. Smoke to save him. And there is Cello with position. Henny has the information. He's got 40 seconds. There's a third man rotating to the site. So they know that it's going to be this bomb site. Does he check the shadow area? Now he's in a crossfire. And KNG will put him out of his misery. 10 rounds for INTZ, 4 for Luminosity. I think both these teams are still... There's like 4 or 5 teams who can still qualify for LAN, including INTZ. So they are fighting for as much as possible.
They need to fight for their right to qualify for LAN.
Okay, thank you for that.
There's a fast push into the A bomb site, and Luminosity will just rush and hope for their best. Cross their fingers, and no one's... Is anyone checking this? Okay, there we go. There's the check. Luminosity will pick up the 4v2. The bomb site, sorry, in the 4v2. And now Yell's left alone. It's a hopeless, cold, depressing, dark, lonely world for Yell. And it's very dead.
That's it.
That is it. 5 rounds for Luminosity, a desperate one at the end after 7 rounds in a row for INTZ. What will the second half look like? Lots of CT rounds? Probably. Find out after the break. And we're back. It's Luminosity's turn on the CT side. So let's see what happens. Because the CT side is by far the favorable side in this entire series. So we can expect Luminosity to make a recovery just as INTZ did on Train. That's how I think we'll all agree on that. We've got the grenades going out, the flashbangs as well. Some pre-fire from Henny. The bomb's not being committed though. In fact, the bomb is looking to go alone into apartments. At this point, why? Why not? I don't know. This is interesting, isn't it? Not willing to take the duel. Still starting to wonder. They've spotted him now. You've got to chase him. You've got to chase him. What are you going to do? They're hesitating. Your only route to win this round is to go to the B bomb site. That's where your teammates are. He's reloading. No punish.
I'm extremely confused.
Okay, so Cello's come through the apartments and he secured the underpass area, and now the bomb is being escorted into the bomb site. Lucas is running up the short position, and apparently no one can hear that. And 3 players jumping onto the site for INTZ. This is...
Oh my goodness.
Lucas and pistols. That's what he does. But based on how these games have been going, I feel like INTZ are going to close this lead. Even though their T sides have been shocking. Absolutely shocking.
It's good 2-on-4. Why not?
All right, well, they're opting to go for the full save, which I agree with in the position that they're in. They're the 10-6. I think that's a good selection.
Comeback is real, boys.
I don't know, man. We'll see.
The comeback is real. CT side is the side you win on.
It's true. I would like to see Luminosity win. They need to recover some... They're going to need to recover something, man. Because some of those rounds, especially on the last half as well, some of them were really weird. Some really weird rounds, man. Either way, we have ourselves the 4x finally. That's what INTZ were playing for. And they've got the Krieg and the 4 AKs. And it's firepower-wise, it's pretty scary, this round for the CTs. And it's not live. It's all been brought to a dizzying halt.
A resounding halt.
Lucas crashed.
Technical pause.
Huh. Okay, well, what do you want to talk about, James?
I don't know that.
Wow, that's the first time that's ever happened in 5 years.
It's an exceptional time.
This is unknown territory. What do we do? Eric, play someone.
Unknown territory. What do we do?
I mean, I'm good at rambling. It's a skill I have. I think that's a skill that's required. Although I don't know if I should really glorify it and call it a skill.
Well, if you
as opposed to just
cast Apex Legends, you're going to have to learn how to ramble.
Hey,
because
man. I have always great points.
there
Okay.
you go.
And I think that it's going to be interesting. It looked like INTZ. I mean, we saw a snippet of what they were going for here. It looked like they were going for a contact push into A or something similar, or a fast play, set piece with smokes onto A. That seemed to be the case. And what I would like to see, if we're just talking the theory, and we're gonna go back to studio here, so we can theory a little bit.
No, let's go to the Sound of CS:GO video.
Oh.
No,
okay.
I mean what's it called again? The big gun. Let's just show them the big gun. Show them the big gun.
We're in Uvalde, Texas at Drive Tanks. Welcome to What Not to Put in CS:GO.
We're here in Uvalde, Texas at drivetanks.com, and once again we've got Riley, and we are doing what should not be in CSGO, and it apparently is a Pack 40. So why exactly is that? What are we dealing with here?
So the German Pack 40 behind me is actually an anti-tank gun. Sole purpose was taking out armor. It was a very powerful gun that the Germans developed in World War II. Could basically take out anything we had at the time. Shermans, Cromwells, Churchills, just about anything. You're firing a 12-pound projectile somewhere around 2,800 to 3,000 feet per second. So incredible penetration at about 142 millimeters at 100 meters. So.
Ouch.
This uses nitrogen for recoil?
Yes, it helps with the recoil of this gun. The gun is so powerful, without the recoil, nitrogen recoil system, the gun would actually flip itself over from firing.
Okay, that's pretty crazy. So we're going to shoot this thing at a car, and obviously this wouldn't be very good at dust 2 doors and make it even worse on the T side, but really it's just an excuse for us to shoot a giant gun. Let's go and do it.
All right, remember, loud 3, 2, 1, fire in the hole.
All right, we're good to go? Is this cool like this? Yeah?
Remember to look forward, keep your face away from the shield.
3, 2, 1. Oh my God! 3, 2, 1. Oh my God!
Well, James, what have you done to this poor car?
Well, we think it went through the window and made a hole through the other door and then went into the earth over there. That was pretty good. That's, I think, the loudest thing that we've ever shot. More than the AWP by a long way up, unsurprisingly. That was pretty insane. I had to like smash the button with my hand, and I just saw flames, and it was just loud, and I just felt vibrations, and I was like, oh my God, holy crap. They did say that nothing would prepare you for it, and they weren't wrong, so that was nasty, and it was awesome. And it shouldn't be in CSGO, obviously, but any excuse to fire a massive cannon.
Yeah, it's crazy as well, because like you can see how the recoil digs it into the ground. It's unbelievable. And also just the fact that they designed it in a way so it doesn't flip over. Just that's how much power is there. It's just unbelievable.
It's crazy.
It's
Also,
crazy.
I've ruined my Nikes.
Yep.
Look at that.
Time for some new ones.
Yeah, I have to buy pair number 45. So
45?
It was worth it though.
Well, that was fun.
That was intense.
That was really crazy. The sound was one thing, which you'll never understand unless you were there yourself. But it wasn't so much the sound, it was just a physical vibration through our bodies.
And a shockwave.
That was the most significant thing, basically a shockwave.
That's a real thing with explosions, and the shockwave can actually kill people, not just explosions.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It was absolute insanity. It was the basiest thing ever. It was absolutely bananas. So, Lucas is still missing, unfortunately. So I think we're going to go to a break because we don't know how long this is going to take. I don't know if it's a power cut or what the situation is. So Lucas is I don't know. He's literally AFK or AFI, away from internet. So hopefully he'll come back to the internet, log on again, and then we'll be good to go. So we're going to go to a break. When we're back, more Counter-Strike.
Man, miss you, let's spray that. Yo, man, pull up, ain't talking a reload. Bust doors, no need for a key, though. Man, I take aim, but this ain't a free throw. Don't matter, bustin' if you're coming at me, though. Bustin' if you're coming at me, though. Bustin' if you're coming at me, though. Man, I take aim, no free throw. No matter, bustin' if you're coming at me, though. Man, pull up, ain't talking a reload. Bust doors, no need for a key, though. Man, I take aim, but this ain't a free throw. No matter, bustin' if you're coming at me, though. Bustin' if you're coming at me, though. Bustin' if you're coming at me, though. Man, I take aim, no free throw. No matter, bustin' if you're coming at me, though. Bustin' if you're coming, no put it out. Get a pun, but I mean no tricking out. Meaning if it's on, then it's on, stay looking out. On-site gas, so it's fire, no cooking out. Run, you insane, no bolting. Book for the wall, you're coping. You're a pump, only right, you're soaking. Not off the loud, brother, ain't smoking. Don't know what you're chat for. Why you front, have you running for the back door? Man took offense, why you thinking there's a tap for? Man, I leave more holes in you than a crack ball, too raw. That's how the beef come. Know it well, and that's how the beef done. There's no rules, no, that's how the street run. Man, I get light, see sun, let the week done. Try no man, don't play that. Been like that since way back. Man, roll round and spray that. Man, miss you, let's spray that. Try no man, don't play that, don't play that. Been like that since way back, since way back. Man roll round and spray that, and spray that. Man miss you, can spray that, and spray that. Yo, man pull up, ain't talking a reload. Bust doors, no need for a key though. Man, I take aim, but this ain't a free throw. No man, I'm busting if you're coming at me though. Busting if you're coming at me though. Busting if you're coming at me though. Man, I take aim, no free throw. No man, I'm busting if you're coming at me though. Man pull up, ain't talking a reload. Bust doors, no need for a key though. Man, I take aim, but this ain't a free throw. No man, I'm busting if you're coming at me though. Busting if you're coming at me though. Busting if you're coming at me though. Man, I take aim, no free throw. No man, I'm busting if you're coming at me though.
Welcome back. We're into the final map of the day, and it is 10-7 currently for INTZ, as you guys can see at the top of your screens.
He's back.
Don't adjust your TV sets. Indeed, Luminosity are having a struggle on the struggle bus, but they have an AWP on Henny, and they have nades. They've got guns. They've got armor, helmets. Defuse kits. Grit and determination, and Lucas might have a good timing, but he's going up the ladder here, and again, might be a good timing. That's unbelievable. Two players literally just slipped past him. Did he see anything? He must. Oh my god, he's going to die. He's dead, and the bomb site is completely compromised. That timing is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Unbelievable!
What a crazy round that's going on, and then Nekis will get the kill on the A bomb site, but bomb's ready in B. Not planted though.
Yeah. The amount of flanks in this round is pretty outrageous. From cat to connector, from cat to cat, from market door to market, and then that apps one. People getting shot in the back. That's how many people got shot in the back. It's a lot of shooting in the back.
Yeah, I'm surprised INTZ got up middle, up towards cat without even being seen.
Yes.
It's so rare on this map to not be seen in middle. There's always someone catwalk or ladder room, as you saw. Was it Lucas over there?
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate timing.
Do we have a clip of that timing? No, we don't. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. No worries. All right, that's a weird round. It's hard. You can't really break a round down like that. It's just that is a round that was won purely on a series of bad timings for Luminosity in this case.
Need a little bit of luck.
Oh, we do have it. He's trolling me. So look at that. Can you believe it? Just the moment when he looks away. That is the exact moment two players cross a pretty large space, and he turns around just as they've passed.
And what's even more random is that they didn't even make a footstep the entire time.
Yeah.
So no idea that they were in those kind of positions. And very strong move by Nekis right here, making that catwalk jump, allow him to potentially see the smoke, but he got flashed off. He didn't see anyone cross. Surely he has to know. He saw that nade trajectory. But Destiny will take him out.
That jump, actually, I used to think it was hard. Then I started practicing it a lot, and now I have it pretty consistently. And it's really powerful.
Oh, it's very powerful.
Yeah, so it's and also for retakes, it's super good to be able to like quickly get to cat where otherwise you wouldn't be able to quickly get to cat because it's to run all the way around. And timing is everything. Sometimes it's better to have a worse position but a good timing than a good position with a bad timing. There we go. All right. Because ready with not ready enough with the dig. He gets flash. Good flash coming in there from INTZ, and systematically they'll remove player by player. Although steal, oh my god, I saw that last one connecting. But still, that'll be the round going to INTZ, so 12-7. And let's see what INTZ's approach will be. Again, the T-side approach is always very fascinating. At the major, I was studying Na'Vi's T-side a lot, and I respect their T-side massively on Mirage, whereas I didn't used to. But I feel like now that I have a better understanding of how they play it, I think it's actually really smart. The way that they call and the way that they use their strats and tactics is really cool and characteristic to that team specifically. But enough about that. It's like they got 2 split between Palace and A Ramp. Very interesting stuff here. Is it going to work out? And he will stop the push, and they will fall back. That feels like they didn't really gain anything from that. I'm not sure what they were after there. They tried perhaps to get. It reminds me of when you have a fast timing towards B on Dust 2, and if you get that first pick, you just bundle into the bomb site. It reminded me of that kind of a thing.
Yeah. I wonder if they expect Henny to be in a different spot, and hearing that AWP shot just kind of scared him away.
Yeah.
Which, in hindsight, is a great call, because by the time Luminosity or INTZ fell back, there were 4 players at Luminosity, like rotating towards A.
Actually, I think maybe the biggest mistake I've spotted recently in Pugs is that players don't understand they can reset situations, and like they'll go towards A and then just try to commit when you can just reset and fall back. And if you've gotten a kill on the CT side, that changes everything. But here comes the push into the B bomb site, and that's a nice timing. Oh, Nekis with the double, and that looks fantastic. There's now just 2 players left for INTZ to try to save this. The bomb is up on the balcony. There's no way they're recovering this, and Nekis just annihilating everyone with a quad kill. That was fantastic. And another round for Luminosity. But still money in the bank for INTZ.
Just nice job using the smoke, dancing around it, reposition himself. Just notice he's not just in the same angle. He's being active, proactive, making moves. And I do see a lot of CT players when they play B tossing that smoke right by Van, just to do what Nekis did. They get kind of almost one way above it if they're coming from a catwalk. And also blocks them if they, you can hide behind it, let them jump out. Just play around with the smoke. They have to respect it. If they don't, they get burned.
Indeed. Right, so we get the timeouts, the intermission, and there's no point Kianji. I'm curious what he will be doing with it. Where is he at? Kianji is in the front. He's got potentially, I mean, he doesn't really got a great timing towards mid, but we'll see what he can do with it. This goes to the connector peak. You got to respect if you have a bad timing. And that smoke I first saw, I think, from Bialy many years ago. The sideways mid-window smoke. I used to throw it for a while, and I decided that actually it was I couldn't get it consistent. And the boost into the window here. But Henny's checking for this. It's an easy frag for Henny. Very easy kill for Henny. I suppose they were expecting that the AWP would rotate out of the window, because that was a quick timing on the boost.
It's also kind of a weird smoke because it didn't really cover the guy going in the window. So it was a little more to the right, or the player was too much to the left.
Yeah, it's a easy catch for Henny for sure, and that's put INTZ in a really weird position because they kind of have middle, they don't have connector though, and they don't have ladder room, and they don't have window. They have 3 flashbangs. They don't have any smokes, so that's a really weird spot to be in because on Mirage you really, I mean, pretty much any map you need that one smoke at least one smoke, because there's always one choke point that can be particularly troublesome. And it might, I mean, it kind of forces them to go towards this B-bomb site in some respects because of the positioning. And Destiny to get boosted back up into the window actually catches Lucas. And with that frag, maybe there's actually somewhat of a chance to kind of go for a rotation with that kill in towards the A site. But the positioning here for Luminosity is actually pretty good. You see Boz takes that 1v1, picks up the frag. Teammates for Destiny a bit too far behind him, and Henny can swing out now if he really wants to, but he's going to keep this safe position. 9 seconds, the bomb's down, and a wallbang comes in through triple, and that's it. That's the round. Even though Henny goes down, there's no time to plant the bomb. And again, Round winner. Luminosity by timeouts. This series has had so many timeouts. It's kind of nuts. Only 2 on this map so far, but train. If you missed it. Lots of timeouts.
Nice shots. Those are clutch shots from Henny. As if he didn't hit those, the bomb would probably have been down. Or planted.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't we, like the last time we saw Luminosity like train or something, not in this series, didn't we see like 4 timeouts in a row or something?
That's a Vanguard.
As a Vanguard, okay, of course. Of course,
I
of course.
can never forget that.
Yeah, well, at least at Vanguard, they have like such a solid game plan that that I can't really criticize it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's kind of the style that they have, and they play the strengths of it well, but it does backfire every so often.
Yeah.
Or 4 times in a row, sometimes. So just trying to walk up into the A bomb site, not really going all too well here for INTZ. Down to 3 players, abandoning the push, but they've lost so much and gained nothing. So now it's going to be even harder. They're playing on nightmare modes now.
But look at Luminosity. They have all 5 players towards middle and A bomb site.
Yeah, don't do that. don't be doing that.
At least keep someone towards the B bomb. It's a 5-on-3.
There's no world where you need to do that and rotate everyone off of B. That scared me for a hot second there. But Nekkers is alone with it. He's alone on the bot. So this doesn't make too much sense because at this time in the round, it's very rare that a team's going to take mids super late. What often you'll see is that the CTs will always go back to the bomb sites because that's the thing that the Ts they can't really mess around with getting the map control. So it's very strange that there's not more than 1 player towards the B bomb site here. And if they're going to play mid, the fact that there's no pushing as well, that's also a strange thing to see. And very peculiar. I'm going to see Bolts clean up here with the help of Nekkers, just arriving in the nick of time. And that will be 4 players surviving in the end for Luminosity to claim their 10th round. That seems very needless, I feel like. It feels like a weird overcomplication taking mid. Because they did it in a way where it's like they're playing a setup that you could see in the middle, like at the beginning of a round.
Yeah.
And at the end of rounds, you don't see that because it, theoretically doesn't really make much sense to do it unless you push with it. But even still, that you're inviting a risk that's not required. So that's a very strange one. Anyway.
Oh, what smoke is that? Let's tap him.
Push comes in. And that's an easy spray for Lucas. I gotta say, the AUG feels really ridiculous sometimes because it's so consistent with the spray. If your first bullet aim is look, your precision's really good on the first bullet. It feels like godlike sometimes, like swinging around, just killing everyone.
It's a laser beam.
It does feel like a laser beam. It does. You're right. The laser.
Lucas.
How do you feel about it very quickly as far as like the balance goes? Because initially I felt like it makes it too easy. I like seeing the skilled use of an M4.
It does need to have a little more recoil. I mean, it's just too good and it has a scope. So.
Right.
And it gives the CTs that much more confidence to hold angles and peaks, which is, it's. I guess if you look at it at a different light, it makes CTs a little easier in terms of because CT side guns are more expensive. Potentially T side's always going to be the better side. Offense is always sometimes better in terms of just. I guess in theory.
Yeah, I mean that's actually kind of one of the criticisms that that Threat brought up when I spoke to him a long time ago when the not the last economy patch but the one before it when if he had that stacking bonus first came in and we were talking about the AUG as well and that's one of the points he made. It's like it has a scope. Like it doesn't have to be ridiculous with a really easy recoil as well. The scope actually makes an enormous difference to how you can hold positions and also mitigates bad economy when you don't have AWPs because you still have like a gun that can perform well at range reliably. So. This is what some people are calling the Astralis smoke. It's a super deep top mid smoke you can throw from CT spawn. And it's pretty strong if a team is relying on mid defaults because you throw off their timing quite severely. And if they put a lot of players towards mid, you slow them down in a way where you can also pressure an extremity, which we kind of see actually because Steel has pushed towards kitchen in the B apartments, which is a pretty strong position. Comes the retake of mid late. It's just all out warfare in the mid position, and it's actually worked out pretty okay, I would say, for INTZ. 4 versus 4 is not bad, and Luminosity is sort of forced out of mids, mostly.
Smoke will go down in window. 3 of the members of INTZ just kind of creeping around. They have 38 seconds, not much time to work with.
Is there a flash
No more
for Yell?
smokes either.
No flash for Yell, that sucks. Would have been a pop flash into take connector would have obliterated Henny, but instead Yell gets taken down for free by Henny. Look at the read here from Bolts.
Oh.
He's absolutely nailed the timing of that nade. And this is looking like Luminosity completely outmaneuvered INTZ. What's interesting is we had a 4 versus 4. That was the backstab from Steel. We had the 4 versus 4 in mid. I feel like that's actually a pretty good spot, but I think one thing that you do need to try to accomplish as a T side, if you're going to really fight for mid, you got to take ladder room, or you got to take connector, or you got to take window. Like one of those positions you need to be able to pressure and try to dig a player in, and I felt like they kind of like just gave it up. They took mid and just gave it up. And of course, CT still have vision there, so they effectively still have mid. It's very low cost for them to get information there.
I think to add more on your point about that Estrella smoke middle is, you make a very good point on timing. And what does this timing do? It enables the CTs to get information and into position. If you're middle, if you're INTZ or the T side, if you rush through the smoke, you're at a huge disadvantage. If you need that timing to have mid, you're forced to toss out of flashes and smokes, or maybe flash it and a Molotov, which kind of gives away to the CTs. Oh, there's at least a couple people here, and then they could adjust another spots on the map. Maybe they push A ramp, maybe they take B halls. So it's a very, very strong smoke, and a lot of top teams will use it.
Yeah, disruption is such a key element of Counter-Strike, and I like it. I like seeing it. Because we'll creep up mids, just get some info here, and INTZ aren't moving around too much at the moment, just trying to get in position slowly but surely. They've got the walk here through the underpass, but they don't have utility. There's 0 utility, and that usually means that you're working, like your advantage is to try to get kills or get a favorable position is to use your numbers and the speed of the pistols. Okay, that's not worked out. Or it's to try to just find a way to just get damage through picks, because Counter-Strike's all about resource exchange. Everything is a resource. A player is a resource. A grenade is a resource. Obviously, the money
Time
is a resource. Time's a resource. Position is a resource. And so, Sand is being hunted here. So typically, you want to find. I'm sure there's like some math boffin who can sort of maybe even give all these things values and maybe make some cool formula or something like that. But you always want to exchange resources in like this plus expected value way. So you want to like if one flashbang, for example, on Inferno, a single flashbang can cause a like let's say it's one of those spots where the CTs took control of Banana early on. They expended a lot of utilities. So that's a big cost sunk into that. They cheat a player towards the A bomb site, but then you throw that flashbang as a T over towards Banana, which forces them back. That can be one flashbang that can cause not only a rotation, but send a player back, thus giving you a position safely for the cost of $200 versus the cost that they made on the rotation, losing information, and also the dump of utility at the beginning of the round.
Yeah,
that's pretty sick.
It's a big deal.
That's
a big deal if you're able to do that, and I think that's what INTZ is trying to do with their utility on their T sides. That's why they're taking their time so slow. But it doesn't work, as you said. You have to add other factors like positioning and getting kills in the process of doing it if possible.
Yeah. Well, this is interesting. So we see the Astrology Smoke again, and the flash rate through it. That's a good response. If you have the players to burst it, that's really, really strong. Now the CTs have used that utility, which usually, if you're using it aggressively like that, you're trying to burn time. Ooh, big miss, Randy. Can he escape? Oh my god, it's so risky. The wood, you can get shot through that. But yeah, basically, INTZ just forced Luminosity to waste a bunch of utility. And they didn't get anything for it. And INTZ instead get loads of position. That's fantastic. That's a great trade. And now a kill in ladder room. They've got ladder room. They've got so much value out of mid right now in this round. And here is a response from Luminosity. They have to respond in some fashion. And so the B-Apps push is a good way to do that. And it's turned out that no one's there. That's huge info. I was going to say, if Nekkers keeps going towards the B-Apps entrance, he might spot the bomb, which would be quite interesting. But instead, they're going to leave it to Henny right now to hold down A by himself, pretty much.
Yeah, them leaving the bomb back actually makes it a little awkward. Now, Kanji has to retake Catwalk and he gets caught out, but no! Nekkers still gets taken out.
That's unreal.
And now KNG has 2 HP and the bomb on the bottom connector with 35 seconds. And one has going to have to hit a monster shot here to slow him down.
And the position as well from Steel. He's going to be able to catch them as they're coming up connected. The bomb's down on the ground, but he's lost Henny on the bomb side. I think that might be too hard to recover now for Steel. He does have a 1 versus 2 though. So there is always a way. These rounds are strange, and in being strange, they're quite interesting. Still creeping in. This is the kind of spot where you just have to guess right and be a god with the shots, and you can't always guess right. You can't always be a god. 13-13. Third round collected for INTZ, and again, love that they bursted through the smoke. It's the correct response if you have enough players right next to the smoke.
Unless there's 3 CTs on the other side of the smoke, which then gets a little hairy.
Indeed. But the timing was really
good.
quick.
It was a right response at that time. There's no one there.
Yeah.
Here it comes again.
So the fact that the smoke's being thrown is really good because INTZ are playing... Their default includes top mid takes, like fast top mid takes. Now some defaults will not be so heavy on players in top mid, and instead they'll focus more on underpass and try to sort of bring players into position underpass and top mid at the same time. There's different ways to do it. They have to worry here that there could be a setup in the mid position. Are they going to run boost? What are they up to?
You know it.
Are they run boosting here?
Come on.
There we go. This is pretty crazy on top of the boxes, perhaps? Or is he going? Indeed. Nothing there.
It's a nice little run boost. Get a little mid control without having to give away your position by... Well, I mean, they smoke window anyway, so I don't know. I was thinking they do it so they don't have to give away any more smokes or info, but they still smoke window just to be safe. Nekkers here is kind of an odd spot, but it's kind of a good crossfire here at the bomb site. Lucas will take out Cello, but Destiny responds with a headshot at Nekkers, and then Steel tries his turn, but he gets taken out KNG, and now the bomb's going to be planted in B. Luminosity, we have to save.
Yeah, it's a pretty brave peek from Steel there, but yeah, got to get something going. And it's going to get a little bit worse here. They don't have to keep pressuring it. They can just go for the save. Lucas really needs to survive. As you can see, the money is not good for Luminosity. We're getting to the late, super late rounds in this match. So you need that. He needs to keep this weapon alive. He possibly can. Now Henny's come into play, and Henny's got a frag. This is one of those spots where you need to care about your economy more than your opponents, just because we're almost at the end of the half. Yeah. So at that point, their economy doesn't really matter too much. You just need to make sure you have full buys. So I'm a little bit sad that they lost the M4 there, but as you can see, they can still go for the buys here, and that's going to drain their bank considerably. So they're in that spot where they sort of win one, lose one. They are absolutely screwed. INTZ taking the lead. 14-13. This is the final map of this series as well. The winner of this map will advance to the semifinals tomorrow. It's like slight gap to the left maybe there. I know it's the smokes are client side, so sometimes what we see is not what the players see. That adds a bit of variance to the game. set piece. Flash comes out. Bolts doesn't want to give his position up until the perfect moment, and there it is. He finds what could be the perfect moment and eliminates 2 players. That's not a bad look. Can he get anything else? No, but it's 3v3, which Henny will make a 3 versus 2. And there's no cross to the bomb. In fact, the bomb is under Henny effectively. There's plenty of time, but with the bomb being lost, they kind of have to commit to this fight. They can't reset the situation, which would be pretty amazing if they possibly could. Zan would jump onto the bomb, tries to get out of there, but gets tagged down from Steel by Ticket. And now Kianji with it all to do against 3. Moving forwards, scoped in, looking for the first of 3 victims that must be found. And that's it. 14-14 Luminosity pick up the rounds, and the money for INTZ kind of is not great. Because Kianji has 6k, he can kind of make up for Yell, and Destiny might just have to buy for himself, get a Galil or something.
You know, KNG's not
Okay,
dropping any guns.
yeah,
He's buying the AWP.
I was to say, what is happening with the buy actually? Because so they're taking the tactical time, and after Kianji just insta purchased an AWP and armor and whatever else he wanted, which is interesting because now you can see that Yell instantly bought a CZ, and he also just instantly bought whatever he wanted. Now,
Yeah.
Now this leaves us in a spot where only 2 players can have AKs and some nades.
Get with the Galil. Get the utility. Don't be scared of the Galil.
I mean, this is okay if, you know, if their game plan, they know that it's at its strongest on the T side when Kianji has an AWP, then it's fine. If that's not the case, then it kind of is not fine. But we'll see how this turns out for them. Because one of the issues has been running out of utility for them, honestly. And you can see that's one thing that they enormously sacrifice here. They've thrown everything except for...
Thrown 50% of their utility in the first 5 seconds.
Pretty much. They now have 3 flashes in the smoke, and then 1 at 43. Not ideal. We'll just walk into B, which is currently empty. And there comes Nekis to spot the push. Nekis really late because they went for a mid-take. And Nekis will die. And now comes the retake into the B-bomb site. Now, the fact that they don't have post-plant utility does make it pretty sketch for INTZ. Luminosity, on the other hand, have some utility, but it's awkward. If they lose everything here, even Luminosity, they're going to find it hard-pressed to fight for overtime. If they save everything now, they have a good chance to get overtime. So I think they should probably save, honestly, but we'll see what they do. They're going to go for it, and it's absolute madness here. And he's going to make it a 2 versus 2 after all the kills are exchanged, and Steel will try to force the issue, moving into the bomb site quickly, and he needs to get into position as well. Now down just to Destiny as he shoots Steel in the back, who's running to tap the bomb because there's no time. They have not timed this out well, and I got to say, correct me if I'm wrong, Eric, but at least in like the 3v3, there was actually no chance to get onto the bomb in time. Am I wrong?
I mean, it was really close. It was really close. They were cutting it down. I'm not 200% sure if they had enough time. I mean, possibly. I mean, they did have a kit, I believe, on... I think they had a kit. Pretty sure they had a kit on...
Yeah, that's a rough one. It's a rough one to lose. And he keeps the AWP at least.
But you know how this works.
And exactly.
They always win or they always tie it up with pistols. That's how it works. That's how CSGO is.
Oh, and he has an AWP. And here comes the balcony burst. So Bolts will just die. Lucas will die. Everyone's dying except Henny. Able to make Kianji die.
Oh.
And there goes the stairs position. Nekis falls as well. This could be it. INTZ. Not sure which is the correct way to say it. I think it's INTZ. In a 4 versus 2 in the retake here for Luminosity. They're on the brink of destruction here this week in ECS at the hands of their Brazilian compatriots. We'll see if Steel can get anything done here. Does find himself a kill. Let's swaps out for the AK. See what he can do. Nice spray onto Cello. And now there's just 2 players left here. The bomb is really far ticked at this point. And he's trying to bait out a player. Gets taken out with a bad timing. But there's the hold. Not going to work out. And 16-14 INTZ will take Luminosity and they will advance.
Well, that's unexpected. I don't think a lot of people would have thought INTZ would put such a good fight against Luminosity. I mean, granted, a lot of this was all CT-sided. All 3 maps were CT-sided maps. T-sided strats not really there for both teams. So, you know, if you're the analyst or coach of these teams, you might want to watch demos, listen to, you know, maybe ask other teams some advice. I don't know. See how you can fix your game. Because Dan, as you said, if you've been playing like this for years, you got to do something different. Change something up.
It depends. I mean, it depends. Do you want to be the best? If not, don't bother. Don't bother putting the work in. Just coast.
If you like being bottom of the pack, go ahead. I mean, whatever floats your boat, I guess, at this point.
I mean, it's I have to say, this was the weirdest Mirage I've probably ever seen, at least in the last year or so. There's just many rounds which are just very bizarre when it comes to sort of the selections of strategies, timings, some of the ways it played out, and some of the theories. Very odd scenarios, and maybe I'm just spoiled. I'm spoiled with getting to watch a lot of the elite teams play on a consistent basis. Who knows? Either way, I think both these teams having a lot of really good players, and I feel like there's so much potential on all these players to be very good. And I would love to see some more leadership, because it could really be very transformative for these teams and players, and you know, leading forwards. But here is the scores, and you can see that despite getting Chelly's at the top even though he doesn't have the most frags. I was like, why has he got 1600 damage but he had the most frags? But okay, he doesn't have the most frags. So the performances, I don't think there's anything too crazy to really talk about. Is there anything that stands out to you?
Just work on your basic fundamentals and come with a prepared game plan on team side. That's all I got to say. It's like as simple as that. There's so many minute, small problems here and there. Spacing, timing, strats, working together.
Well, we move to the bracket. And here is the action as it played out today. MIBR 2-0 over Singularity. A better showing than their previous showing against Singularity, but still, Singularity was a game that we watched. Still, an exciting prospect, and I enjoyed that matchup. We also watched, obviously, INTZ Luminosity, and that was a 2-1, and Team Liquid on the other side, easily 2-0ing Space Station. And this gives us our semi-finals. And we got MIBR Cloud9, which will be an interesting one. MIBR should take that. INTZ Team Liquid should be Team Liquid, right? Do you feel like we have the finals makes sense already? Team Liquid and MIBR?
I think Team Liquid definitely, obviously, because of how skilled they are, and one of the best teams in the world. Cloud9 and MIBR, I'm not like, you know, you want to say MIBR.
Right.
You want to say MIBR, but I mean, we've seen how Automatic can play. We've seen how Cloud9 can work it, and you know, on paper they don't seem that good, but they can beat some teams. So is MIBR, are they having an off day? Are they trying 110%? Is Fallen on fire? Is he not? So a lot of those little factors could sway the match, but I wouldn't count Cloud9 out just yet.
Yeah, that will definitely be an interesting match. And I think, you know, European Counter-Strike as well. We've got lots of really cool stuff tomorrow. But I think that about does it for the show here. Of course, we have the HyperX X Factor moment of the match. So let's check that out.
Is it a pistol round?
So we get a pop flash there. And so this was the massive flank from Nekkers. So he was able to find his way through construction undetected to crack open this bomb site. If you can see the score, obviously this is like very critical in the victory, as it just crushed the economy. Easy 2K, and there's the smoke as well, just to single-handedly secure the round. So nice little flank action at play there from Nekkers, and there you go. Are you satisfied? It wasn't a Glock highlight, I'm afraid, but you know, we'll work with what we can. Right, so thank you, ladies and gents, for tuning in. Of course, remember, you can get some tickets for the finals. They are upon us very shortly in June, a mere few weeks away. I guess you can see the details there below on your screens, ecs.faceit.com, if you are planning a trip in London around the time of the finals, or if you want to go to the finals and that's the only reason you want to go to London, then so be it. I think the weather will be pretty good, global warming and all that. It's actually been, it's been working out pretty well for us over in the UK. So I think you know, the bad reputation doesn't really stand up. So don't let anyone.
Up in London once is great.
Don't let those naysayers get to you with regards to the weather. It's a great time to go to London.
A lot of good Indian food.
Yes, that is very true. Incredible Indian food. If you want to get great Indian food and don't want to travel all the way to India, which is very far away. Recently went there. 21-hour flight from there to LA. That was something.
That's a lot.
Anyway, thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you guys for more Counter-Strike action here at ECS. For week 5 tomorrow, don't miss it. It'll be semi-finals for Europe and for North America. James will be joining us again, don't worry. He has disappeared. I think he's playing some footy. now, and we've got the Bears back as well, and myself. See you then.